So here's my new project. Blank page. Let me see if I could actually find my damn thing. I got my thing. Here we go. Hello. Hi. Great. So in a bit we're gonna have Melissa coming in asking me some Krita questions because she does not know how to use this one bit. Okay, so D is a shortcut to go to your default colors, which is a black and white. You can see up here, X is just like Photoshop. X flips them around. And here's your brush. You could write in it. That's great. The shortcut for the brush is B. So you can just draw on it. You have your size up here. You have your opacity up here. You could also like do symmetrical. Ooh, pretty nice. And horizontal up here. Oh, actually, vertical, horizontal. It has more options, but you don't really need to see those right now. This brush right here is if you want to do more symmetry though. Like this is a symmetry brush, and you have your options down here. So let's see. You could do like a snowflake or symmetry brush. You can add 3 brushes, 4 brushes, or something. So yeah, that's all complicated stuff. Don't worry about that right now. Okay, so for the general UI, you got your windows up here. If you don't see any of these around, you go to your workspace right here on Window Workspace. Actually, no, you go to Settings. Go to Settings and then go to Dockers. So you have all of these, like so many windows, and I only use a couple of them. I don't use all of them. I don't think I've seen all of them yet, but animation is the one you want. So you could see this timeline down here. Actually, no, that's the one right here. So you could do your scrubbing and your like moving through frames and stuff. I think the timeline one is the one for the bottom. Yeah, the timeline one is for the bottom. Your animation, your brush presets is this little guy right here, and this one has just an assortment of a bunch of brushes. You could create your own, and you could search for them however you like. You can tag them and blah blah blah. The cool thing is that when you tag them, if you do a left click, they're all right here. So this is like your palette. You could put in your different brushes that you like, your eraser brush and all that, your splatter brush. Make a little splatter effects. Oh, I forgot to take off the. Go back to B. All right, so your splatter brush, and then you have your smudge brush. So it's like really cool if you have a stylus with you. You can set one of the buttons to do a right click, and then you can pick your colors. You can move them around for the hue. Change the value by going to different sides, saturation, blah blah blah. It's pretty handy for like on the go. So let's see. So yeah, I made my own little palette there. All right, UI. You got your tools right here, your brushes. You go press B, and you get be on the brush tool, and then the brush presets right here. You have a bunch of them, and I mostly like using this thin one right here for animating. It's really cool. Right here, the shortcut for the fill tool, which the cleanup artist is probably gonna do. You're gonna press F instead of G. Yeah, so it's a little weird, but that's fine. Is this my animate? I don't think this is my animation one. Which one's my animation one? And animation. Here we go. This is my animation one. It's an even finer brush. And let's see if you press F. Kind of fills it. It fills it all, kind of. You could see like a little pixelation down there. Maybe if we fix the threshold or something. Maybe fast mode would change it. Nope, fast mode doesn't do it. Maybe full entire selection. No, that doesn't do it. Feather radius. No, that doesn't do it. threshold. Let's go to, it was at 11, right? Threshold doesn't change nothing. Alright, okay guys, Mel is on the stream, but you can't hear her, only I can, so it's gonna sound like I'm crazy. Alright, you have any questions so far, Mel? What's Krita? It's this free software that some dude invented, and then he let everybody else use it, and then everybody pitched in, so that's what Krita is. It's free. I know, right? It's very cool. Do you have Krita open? No? Are you? Yeah, of course. Follow along. I'm just gonna draw a little bear until you. Are you looking at the live stream at all? Oh, okay. I mean, you don't need to hear it. You just need to watch it, I guess. Can you see my bear? You can see it? Okay. It's not that laggy then. I thought it was gonna be laggier. All right, there's my bear. Great. So, did you hear the beginning part of the tutorial? Okay, so let's start from the top. All right, when you open Krita, it's gonna look a lot like this, probably. If you don't see any of these windows, they're probably hidden right here in the settings. You go to Dockers, there's just all these options right here. I haven't used most of them. I only use like a handful of them. So you can play around whenever you want on how those might help you out. But yeah, if you don't see any of these here, you'll probably see it right here. Animation will bring this one out, and then the timeline one is going to bring the bottom one out. All right. Okay, so what you do is you just right click in the center, and that will open a new document. So you could put in like your dimensions right here, like how much resolution you want and all that stuff. You could even switch it from portrait to like landscape. It's kind of useful. If you put in like the wrong thing, you're like, oh, I never mind. Blah blah blah. Don't mess around with the color stuff. That's a little advanced. I don't know about it much either. So if you, oh look, it has animation templates. I didn't even know. And I looked at, yeah, do you see that? It's crazy. Wow. And I was looking at the comics templates earlier, but the animation one is pretty cool. All right, so just hit create. Bloop. And there you go. You got yourself a new document. You know, you could just draw on it. Blah blah blah. You have your basic opacity in the top. You have your size right here for the brush, and you could do like a symmetrical thing if you click here. And you could do both. Oh, that's pretty cool. I hardly play with those though. All right, so here's your tools. There's like your lasso tools and your crop tools and your fill tools and all that stuff. You got some rulers right here on the side. I don't really use those for animating. I basically just stay with the lasso tool and like the pencil tool. So right here where if you click brush presets, you have all your brushes. Are you good? Am I going too fast, too slow? Just right? Oh, the video? Okay. I'm sorry. Phones are even better than technology these days, I guess. Well, just tell me if I'm going too fast or how. Okay, I'm barely going over the tools, and then the brush presets are in the bottom. Yeah, I'm watching the video too while I'm streaming. It's kind of weird. Okay, yeah, and those are the brushes. How do I get rid of lag? It's probably somewhere in my settings. All right. So did you get all that? Okay, great. So now to the animating part. which is pretty, I guess not easy if you look at this, but right, this is your timeline here. Krita treats all the layers like if they're, Photoshop image layers. But the thing is, to change that, you go down here to the timeline and you press V. And that's the shortcut for like putting down a keyframe. So now it's transformed into an animation layer. So you could draw here, and you go here, you press V again, you draw again, you go over here, you press V again, you draw again, V over here, you draw again, and then in your animation, let's see, yeah, that's your timeline, and yeah, you see, your timeline, the vector, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so there's that. Okay, great. But yeah, so if you press play right here on the animations panel, you press that middle button and it'll play. And it'll end right here where the frames say end, and it'll start right there. So if you don't want it to go all the way to 100 frames, you of course bring this down to like what, 30? And it'll just loop at 30. Do you get it? Oh, you're listening and watching? Okay. Would it be easier to listen to the live stream or to like my actual voice? Okay. And doing homework? Okay, that's all good. All right. If you have any questions, just let me know because like that's the closest thing to like if they have questions, they'll probably ask me the same thing. Okay. So that's that. Yeah. So the onion skin is like really useful for animation students. It's right here. This is the onion skin panel. The cool part is you can go anywhere from -10 frames to above 10 frames, so you could see like pretty much like a large spectrum of like the frames in onion skin mode. So let's say you're here, but you want to see the previous 2 frames. You go 1 and 2, and the way you'll make it visible right here in the main screen is by clicking this little lamp area. It's kind of like a light box icon. So yeah, and you can see both of them right now, as you can see. And then it goes here, and then you're only able to see the previous one and the first one. Yeah, so it doesn't really measure it like what's in the next frame per se, but it's the next keyframe, right? It doesn't matter how much spaces it has in between. So yeah, that's the onion skinning, right? And you could click out of it and click on it. You can even click out of it over here and click on it as well. Yeah, so that's that part. To actually delete the whole keyframe, you could press backspace, but it actually just clears the layer. So you could just draw on it again or whatever. But to actually delete the whole keyframe, you want to go here to the animation panel and this little cross on the video thing. Just click those, click that one, boom, and you're back here. Okay, so let's say you're working on an animation and you have like a background that you have like a background that you want to put in. All right, so you might not want it to move. Whoops. So you create a new layer. You can call this the background layer. Great. And then you put in the background, of course. And then let's say you just want like mountains, and then you want like a little landscape. Little mountains in the background. Does this sound like ASMR to you? It's like, okay. And then you draw some clouds, whatever. All right. So that's your background. Since you didn't press V, you know, it's still in the image mode. And this one is in animation mode. But let's say you want to see it in the timeline. What you do is you right click on it and then you go to show in timeline. You click that box. So now if you go somewhere else, that's not that frame, that's not that layer, you'll be able to see it in the timeline. So that's just a way to like keep your timeline organized so it won't be like full of a dozen layers, you know, that you don't want to see. And if you don't want to see it, you know, you just remove it from timeline and boom, you see, it's not there anymore. Go back, yeah, not there anymore. Let's say you want to see this one all the time, won't show on timeline. It's right there, right on the top. You can maneuver in it, you could make it invisible, blah blah blah. All right, so I'm gonna do an example of a bouncing ball for you, and I hope that can give you better insight on how to use Krita. And I'll talk through it like some guy that does tutorials, although I don't do many tutorials. All right, so first off, you want the ball to exist, I guess, in the around the middle. There's my ball, some ghetto-looking ball. Great. And let's say around. Well, what I usually do is I usually like planning my arcs beforehand. So I will get some red. I could have just done it on here. Why did I do that? Okay, so I'm gonna have this thing coming down, right? And then when it's down here, it will like squish. And then when it comes back up, it'll like turn to a regular ball again. So it would kind of be like a what? Like it would be slow here, fast here, slow back here, fast in the middle, and then slow back up, right? So that helps me plan out my whole animation. And I'll reduce the opacity so I know where it is. Right now my onion skin is on, so I should be good to go to animate. Alright, so I'm just going to do my keys first. So it's there, then we're going to do the squish. Oh, click X to go back to the other color. Squish, and then let's go back 3. That's like basically 2 keys, right? Boop, boop, boop. Great. I want to cycle it like at what? I guess cycling it at 9. Frame 9 would be good. There we go. And pa 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 pa. So it's only keys and it already looks like it's animated. It's crazy. Alright, let's do the in-between. Great, you could see the other one is in green and the other one is in red. If you guys actually wanted to change the color of them, the colors are right here. You could just click on it and pick your different color. You click on green, pick another color. That's for the next frame. So it's up to you. You could really customize it however you want. Yeah, and you could actually change the opacity of those colors too with this guy. With these, if you raise this up, it would increase opacity. Lower it, it would decrease it. So it's really up to you. And 0, of course, is the frame you're on, so you'll put it up or put it down. You get to see what exactly you want to see, you know? Actually, this one increases the opacity of the whole thing, not your frame. Okay. Anyway, so let's go back in the middle there. If you want to select multiple layers, by the way, you can just hold Shift, click somewhere, hold Shift, and then click somewhere else. And then move that around. So you can move that there, move that here, move that here. Just be careful because you can't move it anywhere that there's yellow. You have to go past the yellow and then go back if you want to move it to like frame 3 or something. Anyway, all right, so let's get to the in-betweening. Here we go. It's elongated here. Click V, elongated there. Great. Let's play. Boom. Animation, baby. Okay. So let's click V. Let's do it. The in-betweens are the in-betweens. So these are technically breakdowns. Huh? Anyway. So yeah, you do like a overlay one. Go here. Do like, I don't know if I want to do like an overlay. I guess I'll do like a small overlay. Like it's a little, it's coming out through the sides, right? So like, if you can't really get like a straight line with this thing, you can go to your tool options while pressing B, right? B is for the shortcut for the brush, if it's not there already. So you go to brush smoothing, and this basically like smooths out your line. So I go to stabilizer most of the time, and it lags a bit, but like it gives you that control that you kind of want. Maybe that's too much lag. So you have the other options right here. You got delay, distance, stabilize sensors, scalable distance, and all that stuff you could play around. But this is just like a quick overview of this thing. I think that's bally enough. I'm taking it off. So we go like this, and then I would like to have like a little squish and not a little squish. Okay, it's going back up. One more. Boom. Now let's see this bad boy. And there you go. Bouncing ball. A little too fast. Let's say you want this thing to be at 24 frames. You come right here to where it says frame rate. And you change it to 12 if you don't want it to be on 24. And boom. A little slower, a little nicer. And that you could also change the speed as well. So it's up to you. Boom, boom, boom. That's mainly what I do. Let's see what this would be like if I colored it. Okay, let me walk you through the coloring. So there's a couple cool options for coloring if you're doing cleanup art. I would usually start with a new layer, and what you can do is you right click and you put in, actually no, I lie. So Krita's weird. If you want to do like a clipping mask, you have to make it into a group first. So you have to click your animation layer with the line work. And this is just if you want to color like the line work a different color. Or like if you have a fill and you want to change the color or put a pattern in it. So you click on the layer that you're animating, and then you click Control G, great, and you click on new layer. So a new layer, they both need to be in the same folder, and you click this A, and then you click X to change the color. So let's make this line red then. What happened? Yeah, actually, in the Krita's really cool with like how many options they give you to change the brush texture, and you could make endless amounts of brushes if you wanted. So this cool thing was changing like the line of it. But let's say you haven't had a line and you want like the style of it to be like that chalky style that we're doing for the project. Whoops. Okay, so let's make a new one. So this is our brush, blah, blah, blah. You go up here, you see this picture? I don't know if you can see it, but all the way in the top to the left, there's this picture of a brush. And if you click on it, it sends you through all these brush options. And so you want to go to down here to texture. You go to texture and you go to pattern. And you click on this, and it'll give you a preview up here of like the pattern that that is happening. So right now it has like this canvasy pattern, and then here you can see up here, look, it changes. You can do little polka dots, do like a woody texture. Let's see how that looks. Boom. Looks a bit chalky. It's a little more complicated than Photoshop because it is you know, a bunch of people that just put in their time, and it's open source. It's not like private. Um, but they really thought of everything. You could do a lot of stuff. Oh man, let's see. But for that style, usually what I would do is, because I already have a brush that is kind of like that, so I'd go to my what's my markers? I think markers. It's this one right here. It's like part of the inking, and this is the one I use for the animations. So it's kind of like has that. If you see, if you could actually see the brush, it's like jiggling around. So it's basically just like rotating and like in random places to make that texture. It's like shrinking a little bit and all that. But if you did want to make your own, let me go back to my animation brushes. Let's see how that would go if I wanted to make my own. All right. Let's see, blending, flow, size, opacity, tip, brush tip. Let's see, preferend. So you go to predefined, predefined, and you have a bunch of these shapes. You can actually upload your own here. I forget how to do that though. Let's see. So let's say you want a chalky one. Guess this one's kind of chalky. So you see how it's already distorting the brush stroke. Yeah, and then you could change the size of it, change the spacing. You can really just go ham on this and create whatever you want. But I assume it's the same reason why people don't do it themselves in Photoshop. It just might be a little too complicated. But I don't think it's that complicated. I could actually make a preset, and then I'll just tell you guys the specific info I use, so we could all have the same brush stroke if we're doing cleanup art. Let's see. Yeah, so you could change that. You can even change the color of it. And let's see what else. Spacing. Does that kind of answer your question? Okay. No problem. No problem. Yeah, so it's really cool. I think I put this one in one of these. One of those I put in there. Yeah, you could import one. Oh, oh, that's cool. You could import like an image, and it'll just change that into a brush. So if you click import on that, so I could probably just export the whatever black and white image I use, and then I'll send it to you guys. And that way, we'll all have the same texture on the brush if we do cleanup. But right now I need to go to how do I think it's this. Okay, so that's just how you go back to default. Anyway, back to animating. All right, we're here. So that's how you change the color of the inking line. Let's say if you do have, I guess you'd want to do a mask if you want to, because I wouldn't change the texture. Oh, it says I'm offline? Okay. I'm watching mine right now. Yeah, I'm like, what? Oh, I guess it's because the Wi-Fi is a little bad right now. Yeah. But it should be back. Yeah, it should be back. Okay. Let's see. Where am I? What am I doing? So that's this. Okay, so I was gonna show you. This is really cool. That you could do the whole clipping mask thing, and it transports it to all of your frames in the timeline. I mean, as long as like the color fills the whole image. Let's see. Okay, let's see, backspace G, and let's say you want like a green. Great. That's that. F. F is the shortcut for the bucket tool, by the way. All right, and then you press play. Check it out. It's all green now. Great. Let's say you want something a little more complicated. You could import an image and put it in there. Click the same thing, and it'll do the same thing. Well, we'll test it out right now. Let's see. I need to import an image. Let's import this one because I'm too lazy to do anything. Okay, here we go. We have this new one. You change it up all the way up, and then you click the A, and you can see like the little yellows of it and the little grays. And when you play it, boing, 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 boing. You know, it's right there with it. So it's like pretty cool. If you actually like filled all these, whoops. Well, actually, yeah, if you filled all of them, it'd probably do the same thing. But I'm not gonna do that. Okay. What I was thinking for the project, although that's an option just to change the line work, if we want to just change that. For the project, we'd probably just create a new layer and then color it color layer, and we'll set it on multiply, because you know multiply just goes behind the black, and that's how we're gonna color each and every one. Click V. Whoops. Click V. Great. Okay. So we should be able to color each and every one. Color. No, basically you make one layer and you make it an animation layer by pressing V, just like we did with this one. But instead of the line work, we're going to be doing the color. And if you set the layer to multiply, it'll just go behind. All right. I mean, we could also use the bucket tool. So I don't know if does the bucket tool have, let's see, threshold, feather radius, limit to current layer. You click that off, and then I guess you click the background off too, because you don't want to see that. And oh man, I guess the onion skin as well. Okay, because the onion skin apparently interrupts that. And there you go. You just click V, boom. Next, V, boom. What the hell? Was it too? Okay, I get why. Click V. Whoops. This one is a little open-ended. Click F for fill. What is going on? Okay, here we go. So B and F, fill, V, F, V, F. And there you go. You have the whole thing colored. Boing. This is weird right here. This is an accident that you might have every now and then. Let's see. So if you don't press the V to insert a new keyframe, and you decide to draw, let's say you draw like on frame 12, it'll basically copy the previous layer and add it to that layer. To that frame. You'll copy the previous frame and add it to that frame. So your drawing is now combined with the previous frame. I mean, it's kind of bad at some points, but if you know how to use that, so like right here, let's say instead of drawing the whole thing, I just want to nudge it. I click Control T, and I move this that way, and check it out, and now it just moves. You press Control T again here, because it'll copy the other layer. Boom. So it's like simple motion. So go here, Control T. It'll copy the old layer, move in that. Go over here, Control T. Copy the old layer again. It's going that way. So, oops, gotta move this to 20. So there you go. I don't know if you can see that. So that's some move around. Yeah, but I would suggest doing that at before you color it, unless what you want to do is, whoops, forgot, go shift and then you delete all the frames. Unless what you can do is you basically Control E merges both layers together, so it'll merge all the animation frames together. So each one is colored at this point. But then you won't have that individual line work anymore, or the individual color there. But at this point, let's say you didn't like how like fast or like how high that was, or maybe it's too low for you, you could just Control T, move this up, and then it'll change it. Let's go back to 9. Yeah, it'll change it higher or lower. Something I also like to do sometimes is Control T. You're transforming it again, but there's these options here for the transform tool, and they have this thing called mesh deform or mesh transform. So you could basically just move these points and it'll like manipulate the image. It's almost like doing a vector puppet. So like if you want to do like hands moving or something like that, or like maybe you want to do like an extra squishing option. I would usually do it when I'm doing like those exaggerated like these. Like let's say I didn't like that, so I'll just come here and do like the mesh transform. Click, and then it's like, oh, okay, you got you want it to be a little more stretchy, a little more squeezy. Boom, you got it. Wang, wang, wang. You know, maybe this one is not stretchy enough. You go in here, pull it up, pull it down. There you go. Wang, wang, wang. Yeah. Also, a cool part is you could actually import audio into this. It's weird that it's free. Like, there's so many cool things you could do. To import audio, you go down here to the lower left. There's like this little bocina, this little speaker. And you click on it, and you go to Open Audio, and you can see the formats that it takes MP3, AUX, and I wouldn't mess around with the other ones, FLAC. So MP3 should be good. Hidden. There's a bathroom screech. Yeah. So let's say you want to import something from YouTube. You put that in there, and see, and there it goes. I think when you play, you should hear it. You could kind of hear it, right? Okay. Let's see. Move this to 300 frame rate. Whoa, no, not 300. Sorry. I'll move the end to 300 so you can hear the whole thing. So you can hear it. It's really easy to like actually do an animatic on this.
Where the hell do you go every day?
You just draw it and move it to like the place on the timeline. If you need an extra frame, you just draw it in.
To the damn bathroom.
Oh no, I didn't, because then I would have to import every single one as a frame. I mean, I could do it, but I just video edit it in Film Express. It's like this free Premiere kind of thing. But I've tested doing animatics with this, and it's like very, very easy. So you could do that and just export the frames and all that stuff. All right, so let's say you're done with your animation and you want to export. What you do, you go up here, a file, and you put render animation. So default, Krita doesn't come with the MP4 file. It's like the mp4.mpeg, ffmpeg.exe. So that's like what gives it the codec for making MP4 videos. I do have it though, so I could give it to you guys, so you guys could export it. But when you download it, it doesn't have that, and it will only have the image sequence. I mean, it will have this option, but it won't have the file. So I'm gonna need to give you guys that one. But the image sequence right here. All right. Oh, it depends. It depends. If you have a small animation like this one, let's see, cancel. Just keep in mind to like always make sure your start and end points are where you want them to be. Because for that fire animation, I like had it only at 5 frames. It ended at 5 frames, and I didn't get like the whole thing. So just double check on that. So let's see. If it's 9 frames, it shouldn't take that long. Like maybe a second. We could test it out right now. Let's see. I'll go to video. MP4 should be good. Untitled. You could include audio if you want as well. Let's call this animation test. Test. Okay. Oh, that's fine. I'll keep doing this stuff. Hey, no problem. I hope it helped though. Okay. Which one? Oh, they don't? Hey, no problem. No problem. If you guys have any more questions, just let me know. I'll probably just finish it up with like the exporting. Um, and yeah, because I think this is enough for you guys to actually get started and get into inking and all that. If you have, yeah, right. Exactly. But you're welcome to experiment. I think that's how you'll end up knowing it even more if you experiment with it. Where did that damn file go? I don't see it. Where did I export it? Let's see, file, render animation, video location. Let's see, desktop. Let's call this stuff. Yeah, all right. So if you need to leave it, it's all cool. And no problem. Have a good one. See you in class. Bye bye. All right. Well, Mel's gone, and now I need to know what I did. What did I do? What did I do? Something's going on with it. Yeah, that's why I'd rather you guys export it with like image sequence. That would be way better. Cause the video is like it's a bit weird. See, 12 frames per second. Last frame 17. Okay, you gotta check right here. Make sure your last frame is on point. And okay, MPEG include. Maybe if I don't include audio, it'll save it. Let's see if it is somewhere. Stuff MP4. See, it does exist. Oh, it's right here. But I don't think they could read it. Oh yeah, they could read it. Yeah, but still, it's a little glitchy. I wouldn't recommend using it. It's better if we just export it with frames. Export the frames as images as PNGs. So I'll show you how to do that now. You think what you would want to do is create a new folder on your desktop or wherever you have it and call it bounce ball. Right? Boom, boom. Go to Krita, file, render animation, go image sequence, PNG, frame, make sure it starts at 0, because you start at 0. Yeah, and it ends on the actual frame you want it to end, frame 9. actually make it end at frame 8. That's frame 8, right? And then you press OK. And there you go. You come back here, and apparently I did not click where to do it, but it did come right here. Let's do it again, actually. Let's delete that puppy. Delete you. Delete you. Okay. File. Let's go render animation. Great. You want to pick where. Hit that little folder. You want to compound spawn. Great. Frame 8. Looks good. Export. Nice. And then you have it. And on editing suites like Premiere, After Effects, or even Hit Film Express that I have right here, they have options to open folders as a full animation. So this should import no problem. Right? You have it right here. And there it is. That's the whole thing, the whole shebang. Hope you guys learned something with this, and if you have any more questions, you can ask me at school or whatever you like. Okay, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.